What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a little maintenance on my 2022 Ram 2500. And what we're going to be doing is cleaning and lubricating my Amp Research Power Steps. Now, if you happen to have a set of Amp Research Power Steps and your steps are sticking a little bit, it's probably because you're getting some dirt and grime in the pivot points of the actual arms. So before you start freaking out thinking you need to replace your motors, you might just need to clean the arm pivot points. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get it done. Okay, so if you look over here, this is my 2022 Ram 2500, and I do have a set of the Amp Power Steps. So if you start to get some dirt and grime down in these pivot points, so there's typically 4 below and 4 above. So you're gonna have 2 pivot points on this side, 2 on this side, and then up under here, there's 2 more pivot points on each side. So each arm has 8 pivot points. So what typically happens when you're washing your vehicle, you get water built up in there. Sometimes you get snow or dirt and grime, little rocks, sometimes a little bit of surface rust, things like that can actually make this pivot point a little grimy and not easy to pivot. So when your motor is trying to lift up the step, if the motor starts sensing a little bit of hesitation on the pivot arm, it might stop so that it doesn't burn out the motor. So again, what you want to do is either spray some type of degreaser in here and pressure wash it and then blow it dry. Or what I like to do is I just get a can of brake cleaner like this and I just spray off all of the pivot points with a brake cleaner, and this stuff dries on its own very quickly. So I soak down each pivot point with some brake cleaner, and then once it dries, I'll go back through and hit it with a silicone lubricant like this Blaster silicone lubricant. It doesn't have to be this brand, any silicone lubricant will do, but I like using the Blaster silicone lubricant with the little straw like this. And then what I do is I just soak down each pivot point, and I do that on both sides. So to make this easier, while your door is open and your step is down, so what I like to do is come over here and I step on the board and put my weight down on the board, and then I shut it, and then I hold here. You hear that? Once you do that, it senses there's hesitation on the board and it stops the board from folding up until you open your door again. So now the arms are fully extended. Now you could go in with your brake cleaner, spray off all your pivot points, crawl underneath, and I'll show you. You're going to see you have pivot points right here and then right here. So you have 2 pivot points on either side. So you really want to get up in here from behind with your little spray straw and soak that all down nice and good. So again, clean this really, really good. Once it's fully clean, then you could go back in with your silicone spray, soak it all down. Once you do that, that should fix any kind of hesitation that your steps have and allow your steps to go up all the way and down all the way like they did when they were brand new. Now, after doing this, if your steps are still malfunctioning, you might have a motor problem. But again, before jumping into replacing motors, try cleaning the pivot points, because 9 times out of 10, that usually fixes it. Okay, so I have my brake cleaner straw ready to go, and we're just gonna go in here. Okay, and just spray like that. Then we're gonna come under here, but we're basically gonna come up here. And just start soaking those pivot points down. So let me go back under there real quick without the camera, but just because I don't want to spray any brake cleaner on my camera, let me go under there and spray from behind, and then I'll go do the same in the front. And then once we're done, we'll let that dry. We'll go do the other side. Once the other side is sprayed with brake cleaner, we'll come back to this side and we'll start soaking it down with the silicone. So I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so I went ahead and I sprayed my brake cleaner on all of the pivot points on both motors on the driver's side. And then we come over here and I did the same on the passenger side. Then go ahead and grab some of your silicone spray and just start soaking it down. Okay, just like that. All right, then we're gonna get up underneath. Now the silicone spray is easier to spray. It doesn't make quite as much of a mess as brake cleaner does. So just go ahead and just kind of soak it up here. Kind of foams up a little bit. Really just try to soak everything down the best you can. Now, I know it might seem like I'm wasting product here, and again, at the end of the day, I might be wasting a little bit of the product, but I like to come in here and really soak everything down as good as I possibly can, because I want to make sure I thoroughly cleaned it and thoroughly siliconed it so that I know if I did that on all 4 motors, my steps should function fine. If they are still not functioning fine, that at least tells me it's not the pivot points and it could be a faulty motor. So again, these pivot points do collect a lot of dust, dirt, and debris. So you want to really thoroughly clean them and then really soak them down with a silicone, which is waterproof, by the way. If you get a good silicone, it'll be waterproof. And once you do that, your steps should start working perfectly normal again. Okay. Now again, once you're done siliconing the one side really good, go ahead and open your door a couple times, let it go up and down, probably at least 3 to 5 times, and it should start functioning normal. Okay, that's one. That's a full rotation there. Do it again. Again, that's a second rotation. Letting it go up and down all the way will really help work that silicone into those pivot joints. So that's 3. So I like to do this about 5 times, and that really gets that silicone into those pivot points. And once you do that, you should have no more problems with your amp steps. And as you can see, they're going up all the way now, as they should. So it's starting to drizzle rain out here a little bit. Let me go ahead and silicone the passenger side, and then we'll come back with a follow-up. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, everybody, so we're all done. We cleaned and we lubricated our Amp Research Power Steps. So again, if any of you out there have a set of Amp Research Power Steps, you definitely want to make sure you're cleaning them and lubricating them at least a couple times a year, depending on the environment you're driving in. But if you start to notice them not going up all the way or down all the way, it's probably time to clean and lubricate them. Again, it's very simple and easy. Just use some brake cleaner, clean off all the pivot points, let it dry for a couple minutes, and then soak them down with a good silicone spray, and you should be good to go. But make sure after you soak them with silicone, you open and shut your door at least 5 times to let those steps go up and down to really work in the silicone into those pivot points. But once you do that, your steps should start functioning as normal. But that's going to be it for today's maintenance video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section and I'll get back to you when I can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.